few weeks ago at Japan's Tokyo Game Show, Capcom had many surprises for us the fans, since new character scenes, a trailer featuring the series server Dante in action with the weapons that will have in his disposal, alongside the mysterious third playable character called V, were all revealed. Considering these to be the show's biggest reveals, equally important and exciting for the hardcore DMC fans was also the announcement of the game's Deluxe Edition and the contents that will be featured inside. Hey, rise and shine YouTube, my name is Charlie and welcome to this Devil May Cry 5 video where all the exclusive contents that everyone who will purchase the Deluxe Edition of the game will eventually get will be analyzed and discussed. So with that being said, let's jump right into it.
This is a trial from the heavens above.
According to the producer of the game, Matt Walker, at the very early stages of the designing process, the senior producer Okabe-san was very adamant that the whole DMC5 campaign would be available without the need the players to purchase anything else outside the standard edition. So when it was time for the Deluxe Edition to be constructed, the developers had a very precise and careful approach to ensure that all the extra contents would just be fan additions that the long-time hardcore fans of the series would appreciate and find amusing to be used in the game. So essentially that meant that none of the extras, and I'm talking solely about the weapons in the game, should feel like they are the ultimate thing to own, but instead it would only function, as mentioned before, as only a mean to keep the hardcore perfectionist, addicted fans entertained and engaged for as long as possible. To begin with, the Deluxe Edition owners will have access to 4 exclusive Devil Breakers for Nero. But before I tell you all about them, check out my previous video with all the Devil Breakers that Nero will have on the standard edition of the game in case you missed them. The link will be in the description below. With that out of the way, let's have a look on the Gerbera GP01. From a functional perspective, this variant has one additional move compared to its standard counterpart. To be more specific, when the player will be using this particular Devil Breaker and keeps the stick on the controller on the neutral position, instantly Nero will perform something that's called as jockey, and from the ground will launch upwards, while on the other hand when airborne he will move downwards. So the player eventually will have to choose by using this Devil Breaker to give a Nero increased maneuverability, or to use the standard one and make Nero able to reflect certain projectiles or enemies that might be right up on him. Furthermore, the alternate color palette of red, black and silver pays tributes to its designer Shoji Kawamori, who's very well known for work on Macross Valkyrie and Gundam GP01. Next up, we've got the Sweet Surrender. This particular Devil Breaker can be considered as a passive one, since when Nero will have it equipped, he won't be able to attack enemies at all, but he will have the opportunity to regenerate lost health back. Also in situations where Nero's health will be critically low, the players will be able to use the Sweet Surrender's breakage ability to recover a very big chunk of health back, saving him from certain loss. So the players that will choose to have Sweet Surrender in Nero's disposal, it will be extremely important to stop relying on the Devil Breaker to attack and focus more towards racking out those Red Queen and Blue Rose combos to survive. Moving on to the next exclusive Devil Breaker, we find the Pasta Breaker. Here Nico was very creative with the utensils from the kitchen as well as leftover parts from other Devil Breakers. Her intentions by building it was to help Nero turn up that dinner of his. Therefore, since it was made to be used solely inside the kitchen, it is very logical that it will not be very effective in battle and damaging enemies. Regardless of the fact, every time it will be used though, all the remaining Devil Breakers in the player's disposal will cycle one spot. Essentially, this means that the pasta breaker will be the only one that will give Nero the opportunity, if the players wants it, to switch up for the next ever breaker. However, despite this advantage, the player must think very carefully and methodically to consider having the pasta breaker in the inventory, cause automatically loses the chance to have a more aggressive and a more high damage weapon to finish off enemies that Nero will come across while in battle. Finally, for the final exclusive weapon for Nero, we've got the crossover between Mega Man 11 and DMC5. Honestly, there is not much to explain here, since this Devil Breaker is the most straightforward amongst the four, but the most fun, in my personal opinion. That is why I think Capcom also gave us a footage with Nero in action using Mega Man's arm, fighting against the Goliath. Now moving on to Dante, meet the Cavalier R. Although every player that will buy the standard Devil May Cry edition will already own Dante's new motorcycle Cavalier, the Deluxe Edition owners will be able to play with a tuned up version that Nico upgraded, painted and modified specifically for Dante. From a functionality perspective, compared to the original version, Cavalier R will give Dante an extra move when he will be on the Gunslinger mode, but with the downside that it will eventually make him more susceptible to be stopped and broken out of his combo attacks by the enemies. So again, similar with Nero's situation before, the player will have to choose whether or not this extra move is really worth it as a trade-off and losing Dante's super armor. Moving away from the weapon section, the Deluxe Edition will also include a set of special custom colors for all the heroes and heroines of the game. Now, by having alternate costumes for Trish and Lady, I really hope Capcom with this move is planning to make them playable characters too. I don't think the company will go into that much trouble to make costumes only for the cutscenes. At least I hope that this will be the case. I know I'm making an assumption here, but the chances are high that this will eventually happen. Of course, I'm excluding Nico, since the developers made it very clear that she won't be a playable character. Now, to say a few words about the colors, Hideaki Itsuno said, for Dante, the black look pays homage to Ninja Theory's Dante because Capcom loves this game. For Nero, the white look goes back to the whole idea from the Knight of the Order from DMC4. Moving on to Nico, Itsuno said that he thought Nico with the white hair and green top would look awesome. Nothing too extreme, but just an alternate look. Finally, for Trish and Lady, the colors are exactly the opposite, simply because Trish's white is an homage to Lady and Lady's black is an homage to Trish. Last but not least, the Deluxe Edition will also offer alternate style rank and announcers, 12 classic battle themes from Devil May Cry games from 1 to 4, and behind the scenes live action cutscenes. So that concludes all the things that I wanted to say about DMC5's Deluxe Edition. So now it is your turn to let me know what you think. Do you believe that Capcom balanced well the exclusive weapons that will be in this edition as said? Do you think that it's worth paying the extra money? Yes, no, and why? Write all your thoughts down in the comment section, leave a like if you enjoy, and that's pretty much it. I really hope that everyone is gonna have an amazing day or night, whatever you're going to do, and I see you all in the next video. Bye bye.
Perfect timing.